Irv Gotti has some of the craziest stories in the rap game, but a lot of people have no idea how much he really changed the industry. From dominating the charts and racking up millions of dollars, to getting wrapped up in attempted murder cases, today we're breaking down the full story and his sudden death. On February 5th, 2025, the news broke that Irv Gotti had a stroke and was on life support. People all over the industry were showing love to him on social media and hoping for the best, but later that day, sources confirmed that Irv Gotti had died. Irv Gotti had been dealing with health problems for a while, and in 2024, he had a small stroke that made him use a cane to walk around. The strokes were allegedly caused by diabetes, and Irv Gotti had been struggling with it for years. Back in 2023, Irv Gotti went on Drink Champs and said that the diabetes was breaking his body down.
I've been diagnosed with diabetes forever.
Because it's like the smallest I've ever seen you.
It's hereditary.
Yeah. Okay.
It starts deteriorating your body.
All right.
But Irv admitted that he wasn't taking care of it the right way and only took his medication every once in a while. After he had the first stroke in 2024, there were rumors going around that Irv Gotti was in a rehab facility and couldn't even move. But later his rep said that Irv Gotti was doing good and recovering at home with his family. Irv Gotti's team also said that he was eating more healthy food after the stroke and was making a full recovery. But unfortunately, that wasn't enough to save his life. Irv Gotti had been tied with Russell Simmons for years. Before he created his Murder Inc. label, Irv Gotti was working for Russell Simmons and Leor Cohen at Def Jam, and they're the ones who let Irv Gotti make Murder Inc. under the Def Jam umbrella. When the news broke that Irv Gotti had another stroke, Russell Simmons hopped on Instagram and talked about the last conversation they had. Russell Simmons said that Irv Gotti was still full of energy and hyped up about a new project he had been working on. Russell Simmons knew that Irv Gotti needed to focus on his health though, and he invited him to Bali so he can get medical treatment and add 20 years to his life. Unfortunately, Irv Gotti never got the chance to meet Russell Simmons in Bali and get the treatment though, and Simmons said, "American food, lack of exercise, and a toxic, frantic environment is killing my friends one after another." Ja Rule was the biggest star on Irv Gotti's Murder Inc. label for years. They had been tight since the 90s, and when the news broke about Irv Gotti passing away, Ja posted a broken heart on Twitter. Irv Gotti pretty much saved Def Jam from going bankrupt back in the day. The label showed love to him on Instagram and said Irv Gotti was a creative genius who changed the entire rap game. Irv Gotti was famous for creating Murder Inc. and building up huge careers for artists like Ja Rule and Ashanti, but he still produced some records even after Murder Inc. fell off. The last track he produced was with Kanye West back in 2019, and Ye showed love after Irv Gotti died and posted a white dove on Instagram. Fat Joe and Irv Gotti went way back too, and Fat Joe said, "What a genius. God bless you, Irv, for all you've done for hip-hop. You've changed my life, and I will always love you." Irv Gotti had a lot of love in the industry, but there was one dude who hated him so much that he started clowning Irv Gotti's death immediately after the news broke. 50 Cent and Irv Gotti had a wild beef that lasted for decades, and after Irv Gotti died, 50 posted a photo of himself smoking next to a tombstone and said, "I'm smoking on that Gotti pack. Nah, God bless him, LOL. A lot of people were shocked when 50 Cent clowned Irv Gotti's death like that, but this isn't the first time 50 took shots at him. Back in 2024, after Irv Gotti had his first stroke, 50 clowned him for walking with a cane and said, "Damn, homie, in high school you was the man, homie. What the fuck happened to you? I want Irv to get well so we can have to watch my next wave." A lot of people didn't even catch how deep the diss was though. 50 had issues with Irv Gotti and Ja Rule for years, and the first song 50 dropped after he signed with Eminem and Dr. Dre was Wanksta. 50 took shots at Ja Rule and Irv Gotti on the track and rapped, "Damn, homie, in high school you was the man, homie. The fuck happened to you? I got the sickest vendetta when it come to the cheddar. Nigga, you play with my paper, you gon' meet my Beretta." 50 Cent hated Irv Gotti, but way more artists have been giving Irv Gotti his flowers for changing the game back in the late 90s. Irv started out as a DJ and called himself DJ Irv. He was producing tracks too though, and Irv Gotti had a huge break when he linked up with a rapper named Mike Geronimo. They met at a local show and linked up together in the studio, and Irv produced Mike Geronimo's first hit called Shit's Real. After that, Mike Geronimo let Irv Gotti produce his first album, and that's when Irv got Jay-Z, DMX, and Ja Rule to hop on Mike Geronimo's track, Time to Build. Irv Gotti came up in Queens and had connections all over New York, and it was clear from the jump that he knew how to make a hit record. Irv Gotti ended up getting a job at Def Jam Records as an A&R, and his job was to find new rappers to sign to the label. Irv had already worked with DMX and knew that he could be a star, and he told Def Jam that they needed to sign him. Leor Cohen wasn't rocking with the idea though, because he thought DMX was too hardcore, so Irv told him right then that he was quitting the label. Irv Gotti knew he was right about DMX and didn't want to work at Def Jam if they didn't trust his ideas. But a few days later, Leor Cohen had another meeting with Irv to see if they could work the situation out. Irv Gotti told Leor Cohen straight up that he was walking away if they didn't give DMX a deal. So Leor Cohen finally listened and signed DMX to Def Jam. Def Jam was about to go bankrupt back then, and taking a chance with DMX was a huge risk. DMX was one of the most hardcore rappers in the game. He had spent a lot of time in prison and rapped crazy bars like, "My clothes dirty, dick shitty, and my knife bloody. I did too much dirt to turn back now. I'm the reason my little sister's smoking crack now. I feel guilty if I had a heart, but I don't. Could live a carefree life if I stop killing, but I won't. It's in my blood to destroy mankind. With every murder, I lose a little more of my damn mind. And pay your dues, nigga. Respect my motherfucking style, or I'll murder your wife and your unborn child." Nobody at Def Jam knew if DMX would actually be able to sell any records. He had a deal with a different label a few years before, but the situation didn't work out because DMX's first single didn't make any waves at all. Irv Gotti still believed in him though, and when DMX dropped his debut album on Def Jam, it changed everything. DMX debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 chart and became one of the biggest rappers in the game overnight. And then just a few months later, he dropped another record that also debuted at #1, which made DMX the first rapper to have 2 albums debut at #1 in the same year. At that point, everyone knew Irv Gotti could spot fresh talent, so Russell Simmons and Leor Cohen gave him his own label at Def Jam. That's when Irv Gotti started Murder Inc. and signed Ja Rule, Black Child, Todd Murder, and Nemesis. Ja Rule popped off like crazy when he dropped his debut album and sold almost 200K in the first week. Murder Inc. was already making a name in the industry, and then Irv Gotti pulls another crazy move and tried to make the biggest rap crew in history. The same month that Ja Rule dropped his album, Irv Gotti put him in a group with Jay-Z and DMX called Murder Inc. The three of them recorded some tracks together, and fans couldn't wait for him to drop something, but unfortunately the crew didn't work out. There's a lot of rumors about why Ja Rule, Jay-Z, and DMX never dropped a project. Irv Gotti claimed that Jay-Z was the reason it didn't work out.
Murder Incorporated.
I don't want to talk seriously about that.
Why?
Because it's going to throw Jay under the bus. Jay didn't want to do it. Jay, both times, I tried 2 times.
But Jay-Z said it was just 3 guys, 3 independent labels, 3 black men who were all fighting to be the best in the world. Irv Gotti kept it pushing with the Murder Inc. label though, and in 2000, Ja Rule debuted at the top of the charts and ended up going triple platinum. Then Irv Gotti started getting into movies too, and produced the soundtrack for The Fast and the Furious. Murder Inc. started out as a hardcore label, but Irv Gotti knew they could take over the whole game. He signed an R&B singer named Ashanti, and she took the label to another level. Ashanti started hopping on tracks with rappers like Big Pun, Fat Joe, and Ja Rule, and every song she worked on ran up crazy numbers. In 2002, Ashanti became the first woman who had the top 2 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 at the same time, and it was clear that Irv Gotti had signed another superstar. Ashanti's first album sold over 6 mil and proved that Murder Inc. was more than just a hardcore rap label. Irv Gotti was really taking over everything and running the hottest label in the game. But right when Murder Inc. was at the peak, the cops raided the label and everything changed. It all started because Irv and his brother Chris had ties to a dude named Kenneth Supreme McGriff. Supreme was from Queens like Irv and Chris Gotti, and back in the day, Supreme and his crew were running the streets. Supreme came home from prison in '94, and he linked up with Irv and Chris Gotti while they were shooting a music video in Queens. And according to rumors, they were actually paying Supreme and his crew for protection in the streets. Supreme wanted to get into making movies, and Irv Gotti gave him the money to make a movie called Crime Partners. It all looked legit at first, but then the feds raided the Murder Inc. offices and charged Irv Gotti and his brother with money laundering. The feds thought that Irv Gotti was using the label to launder drug money for Supreme. They took the case to trial and were eventually acquitted on everything. But by that point, the Murder Inc. label was pretty much finished already. All the legal drama was a bad look, and Def Jam dropped the whole label. Irv Gotti tried to keep it going, but by 2009, it was officially over. Getting raided by the feds and fighting the case was a huge blow for Murder Inc. But Ja Rule and Irv Gotti's beef with 50 Cent helped tear the whole label down too. It all allegedly started because Ja Rule and Irv Gotti had ties to Supreme, and Supreme is allegedly the dude who tried to get 50 Cent killed. There's also a rumor that 50 Cent tried to link up with Ja Rule and wanted to work with him, but Ja Rule allegedly brushed him off and 50 Cent got pressed about it. Then another thing that sparked issues was when Ja got his chain snatched by a dude that was tied with 50. 50 ended up dropping some of the most savage diss tracks of all time against Ja Rule, and the whole Murder Inc. crew got dragged into the situation. Irv Gotti went from running the hottest label in the game to getting raided by the feds and dissed like crazy, but he never let it keep him down. Irv Gotti kept making music, then he took it even further with making TV shows too, and in 2022, he made the biggest deal of his life. Irv Gotti wasn't making headlines like he did back in the early 2000s, but he was still working like crazy behind the scenes. And in 2022, he sold his masters to a company called Iconoclast for $300 million. It was one of the biggest deals in rap history, and it also gave Irv Gotti the chance to make even more money. Iconoclast gave him $100 million up front, plus another $200 million to spend on making his own movies and TV shows. Irv Gotti was working on all kinds of new projects, but unfortunately his health kept on getting worse. Russell Simmons wanted Irv Gotti to get treatment, but Gotti waited too long and tragically passed away at just 54 years old. There's a reason so many people showed love after Irv Gotti died. He changed the whole rap game and started some legendary careers. And even though Irv Gotti was trying to get more into movies instead of making hip-hop, his legacy is going to live on in the rap game for a long time.